Ah, there we go. Thank you. I usually push that button. Happy Thursday. And thank you for the resubscription. Much appreciated. You are awesome. I'm back with more Dyson Sphere program today because I didn't really feel like playing Mario right at the moment. So I'm like, you know what? Let's play some Dyson Sphere. This is the same planet that I was on before. I made some changes to it, which I can show you guys right now. This is one of the reasons that I'm not doing Dyson Sphere. You see how my avatar is lagging now because Dyson Sphere is selected, but when I select out of the window, everything is fine. This is a problem I've been having specifically with Dyson Sphere program, stealing all of the system resources for itself whenever it's the active window. And there's not a whole lot that I can do about it. I think there are other Windows processes that are getting in the way. But I'm not quite sure what they are. So turn that off. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I may end up doing a Windows reinstall again. Because like maybe it was a faulty install. The last one that I did. Cause trying to fix the problems that have been popping up inside of Windows hasn't been working. And the moment I select Dyson Sphere as the active window, you can see my character starts lagging again. And I'm looking at the performance here, and it's not a CPU or GPU, CPU or a memory thing. It seems to kind of be a GPU memory thing, where Dyson Sphere is stealing all of the dedicated GPU memory. And let me see if I can fix some things here with Dyson Sphere. Okay, so I'm attempting to dump Dyson Sphere out of the memory and onto the paging file. That's why it's frozen at the moment. It should start working again momentarily. Should. But Dyson Sphere might just end up being one of those games that I can't stream just because of how poorly it's optimized. And I've been through so many things at this point. This has to come down on Dyson Sphere and its optimization. Okay, it's back. I dumped its memory to the paging file, and still, it's lagging the system like crazy. No setting inside of Dyson Sphere changes anything. No setting inside of Windows changes anything. Yeah, and when I tab out of Dyson Sphere, here's the thing that's weird. When I tab out of Dyson Sphere, the processes of Dyson Sphere don't change. I have them set to not change. So it runs the same in the background as it does in the foreground. But when I'm tabbed out of Dyson Sphere and it's running in the background, as you can see right there, the rest of the things on the system run perfectly fine. My system is more than strong enough to run Dyson Sphere and all of my other programs I need for streaming at the same time. It's doing it right now. But the moment I make Dyson Sphere the active window, Dyson Sphere steals all of the resources from every other program running and just holds on to it so that no other program can use it. And the best answer I've got from the Dyson Sphere community is, oh, it doesn't do that to me. Like, well, are you running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other programs at the same time that you're running Dyson Sphere program? Or are you just running Dyson Sphere program and you don't notice because there are literally no other programs for it to steal resources from? I mean, at this point, it's kind of like, if you don't have anything smart to add to the conversation, just kind of sit down and shut up because you don't know what you're talking about. I've demonstrated this program more times than I can count to dozens of people, both inside and outside the community. I mean, it is what it is. The game is optimized like rat shit. Yeah. So the problems that I've been having with the Dyson Sphere streams are this. Because I click on the window, watch my avatar. Oh look, we're in slideshow mode. I just hit the Windows key and open the start menu and watch what happens. Oh look, slideshow mode went away. He's a maniac. Yeah. I've been trying to fix this. I don't know. I can put Dyson Sphere in efficiency mode. I can try that. I mean, Google Chrome has 3 windows open. It's not Chrome doing it. Yeah, and the only thing that's maxed out is my dedicated GPU memory. And it's hard to do anything because every time I mess around with Dyson Sphere lately, it's been crashing the entire system. I still haven't fixed that MS Edge WebView 2 thing. Not quite sure how to get that out. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I can optimize within the system. Okay. Yeah, still doing it. Also, welcome back, Con. You've decided to finally start talking to us again, I see. No, I do not have a second GPU handy. Well, I was kind of hoping to stream Dyson Sphere, but I think I'm going to have to hang up Dyson Sphere for now. Because I can't get it to work right. This seems like one of those games I'm going to have to do just do off stream. Which is sad, because it's kind of a game that I want to play, but until I can figure out the Dyson Sphere stealing all, I suppose I could try to Google it. Okay, so there's some people that are saying this is tied to this setting, and if I drop this to a lower hertz, it fixes the issue? It does not. Okay. Those people are just wrong. They do not know what they're talking about. Let's drop it to a lower frame rate and see if that does anything. It very slightly freed up some memory. So I'm gonna have to, do I have to force the game to scale down? That uses more resources. Why is it freeing up resources when I'm forcing the game to run outside of native? but it only gives a 5% drop no matter what I'm scaling it to. So this is not the issue. Yeah, because when I bumped it back up there, it didn't change anything at all in the settings. So the resolution of this and the FPS is not what's doing it. I can drop it to 30 to see if that makes a difference. Oh, is it running at 60 FPS in the settings menu? What makes a difference? Optimizations for this game. The devs really need to work on this. Like I get they just rebuilt the engine, but holy shit, they need to fix this. So it's just changing it from 60 FPS to 30 FPS and changing no other settings has reduced its utilization on my GPU from 99% down to 71%. Which is weird because I already had the little thing up in the corner set. I bet it's reset now. Probably reset to normal. Yeah. But I already had this set to where it wasn't rendering past 60 FPS for the graphics anyway. But apparently this doesn't matter as long as the settings in the setting menu are in place because they override this. Yeah. Okay, well, at least for the moment it appears to be working and not tanking the entire system. Lovely. So I guess I'll leave it on 30 FPS because it's running perfectly smooth now. I don't understand why that's the issue. So I've been doing a lot of stuff offline with the planet. Basically I tiled over the whole planet and I tore up the whole factory that was here. The only things that are still here are all the little oil spots that are each feeding into. I've created this little device as my like standard oil thing now. So all of my little oil spots are feeding into these planetary logistics systems, which are all going to send all of the oil from everywhere to the same spot, and that's going to be the spot where I refine all of my crude into refined oil. I don't need hydrogen, so all of my hydrogen is going to be sent off. The power for my plant is being pulled from the gas giant. I clicked the wrong button. And that's what these things are doing here. These things are actually powering my entire plant. Because they're just pulling hydrogen out of the gas giant and bringing it over here constantly. I don't know why are the ships stopped? Okay. But I think I need more than one gas giant to facilitate power across, because I've got this planet here and that planet over there that is also running off of the same gas giant that's between us. So I think I need to tap another gas giant in a nearby system that has hydrogen and just add that to the pool of hydrogen that's coming in. Yeah. but I'm not having much of a problem with power at the moment. This one is a little bit like overdrawn, but that's just because of the shield, and I just built this thing. So I've got my setup for how these guys are gonna build now, because I built one to get the 15 slots down marked correctly, and to mark where the next row is going to build, so I can build them right next to each other. And the only thing I haven't done is this. Double click on this and then span it down 15. Okay, so I'm gonna need to scoot that over by like 1, I think, because I'm building it near the top and there's a curve that I have to look into. So these are going to be a little more spaced off at the bottom than they are at the top, just to accommodate for that. So it looks like I might have to space it over by 2, actually. So things that I was looking into doing today was getting these things spaced out properly and built out.
Flight mode.
I've also built this belt to facilitate Dyson Sphere launching. Because I had all the facilities needed to build this already made. They were being built on the bus from earlier. So these launch the solar cells to build a Dyson swarm, and these launch the rockets needed to build a Dyson frame and Dyson sphere. And these guys here receive the energy back from said Dyson things. And so I built this line going all the way around the equator, and I've got to run belts to that. I haven't done that yet. But I have run a belt to this. And then I've got this, which is the base that I've been farming since the start of the game. I have it on lockdown at the moment. Oops. It's about, okay, it's gonna explode. But I have it on lockdown at the moment.
Destroyed.
Because it was causing problems and they were breaking the lasers and they got out and started blowing stuff up. So I had to put them on lockdown. And so I have the lasers built and configured in such a way that the base itself can build and be there, but the moment they try to put down any building around it, multiple of these lasers fire and destroy the building. So they can't actually build up buildings or towers or units or anything. The only thing that it can do is drop the base core right there, and that's it. I am going to expand this back out where I can start farming them again, but not until I get the entire power situation sorted out. I moved my sorter from one side of the planet because it was down here on the South Pole. The sorter in science was down here. I have moved it and rebuilt it up here at the North Pole. So it's still this one belt coming in, and it goes around in here, but now it sorts into the double-sized boxes, and it just runs items off the belt, and then these grabbers grab them. Except, of course, for the liquids, which still have to be sorted out via the sorters. And every item that is in the list is in this sorter now. All the way up to these sun-looking thingamithings. I hate how every time I click on something, instead of putting the window like over to the side where I keep moving it to, it puts it right in the middle of the screen that blocks everything. These little sun-looking things here. What are they called? Core elements. Yeah, I have a lot of these. And then all of my buildings are currently in this stack, except for a couple that are down here. I have picked out buildings that I need to make all of the component parts that I'm missing. And so all of the buildings that I need to make everything are between my inventory and this box over here. And I've got as many of them as high up the hierarchy chain as I can get them, because these are the quantum chemical plants. I have many of the composing assemblers, but then I have Mark 3s and Mark 2s because I don't have enough of the Dark Fog assemblers to build all the stuff that I need with the Dark Fog assemblers. I've already built the smelting station on a I can show you the different what I've got going on the different planets at the moment. Okay, so I've named the different planets because I am a geek and naming planets is fun.
Cruise mode.
I've named my planet Nariland because it's my planet. It's mine. So I'm naming it Nariland. Well, how do I lose a gas giant? There it is. Okay, so my desert planet was over here on the other side. There it is. And it's a big desert planet, right? So of course I'm gonna name it Arrakis.
Cruise ended.
Now, the only thing that is going on Arrakis are like two things. One, everything is being mined out on this planet. So all the patches on this planet have these super advanced miners sitting on top of them. If we go down here to the bottom part of the planet, this planet is being powered by these deuterium fuel rod reactors, and then all of these solar reactors whenever this thing comes around and starts facing the sun. How do you have no power? Oh my gosh. I don't understand sometimes, but okay. While this guy is charging back up, all of my planets had shields on them. I've kind of given everybody a soccer ball shield just so the dark fog can't land there and start blowing things up. And this planet was no different. I'm going to put so I might end up putting production on this planet, or at least some of it, because in addition to that deuterium factory down there, the reason that it's a deuterium factory is because I have the deuterium refinery for the whole system happening on this planet right here. So this planet has a lot of surplus energy, but it's also doing a lot of work. Like all of these deuterium tanks right here are full. Almost all of them. It's full to like here-ish. Why is this tank full and no other tanks are full? I don't know. It's behaving strangely.
Flight mode.
But there is a lot of deuterium stored up here, and around the outside of this particular facility are all of these that are building deuterium fuel rods. So we're refining hydrogen into deuterium in here. So this is requesting hydrogen and everything needed to build the fuel rods. And then it's storing the fuel rods. And there is another one of these up north that is requesting fuel rods. So I currently have 2 full things of deuterium fuel rods to power this planet with deuterium. So I'm not worried about this planet. I need to get more hydrogen for my base planet. So now let's go look and see what I've done to my snow planet, which, as you can see, I've named Hoth. Because what else would you name a snow planet if not Hoth?
Cruise mode.
How close am I gonna come to that? You know what? I don't want to be that close to that. Let's warp 4 AUs
Warp
away.
engine deactivated.
And we'll just speed up here. And come in with the last 10 seconds normally. Let me rate the world here.
Cruise ended.
So this planet I need, as you can see, I've got smelting with the most advanced smelters for all of the different things happening on this planet. But this planet currently does not have the power needed. So I've got the smelting away, I've got the tower, and then I've got a huge storage facility back here that I am storing all of these smelted materials in. And this just kind of loops around. So they go into here, then they go into there, and then they loop back out of there back into here. So any overflow is being pushed into the machines back there. The big storage tanks, as you can see here, but this one being almost completely full. And then we just ran out of silicone over here, which is why that one's stopped. But these machines are off at the moment, so if you wonder why the belts aren't moving and cycling the items through, it's because this planet is basically running on wind energy at the moment. And so I had to disconnect most everything on this planet. Is that green? Why is there a spot of green here in the middle of nowhere on a planet that I wasn't painting green? Just erase that and paint that the color of the ground, right? And then I've got the original base up here with missiles and guns that I really need to take a lot of the stuff down and convert these into the other miners. Because all of the mining spots on this planet are using the old style of miners instead of the new ones. So yeah, I just came over here and plopped down all the smelting facilities. And I need to put down hydrogen facilities here as well. Or maybe deuterium to power this planet. But before I can look into doing that full on, I need to get more hydrogen. And I have enough. Let me look at the Delta Cruise system. The gas giant here. What do you have? Hydrogen and deuterium. And I already need to come to this system anyway. So this may end up being a system that I just take over. Like the first one that I take over. Because I came here because it has a planet with a sulfuric acid ocean, which would remove one of the things that I need to build. It's also got Barice, Barice, which I already have a source of, and Kimberlite. So I need to come over here and take down some things I have on the other planet, the first planet, this planet. Because I built a little base here to give me a little bit of extra sulfuric acid, but I've been neglecting it. I've just let the dark fog overrun it, and now I have to like go officially take it down. So I guess I can do that.
Cruise mode.
So we will go out here and set this course.
Warp engine activated.
It's 11 light years away. And I think I have everything that I need to make sure that the my ships can travel out here to this gas giant. So I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna remove my base from what's left of my base from the first planet, and then I'm going to claim the gas giant, because I don't think the Dark Fox can do anything currently to a gas giant that you've claimed. Okay, here we come.
Warp engine deactivated.
Let's see, where this looks like a good place to land.
Cruise ended. Flight mode.
And all I need to do here is to come back to where this was and do that. And now it's not going to tell me about threats from the 9 bases on this planet. But I do need to travel to the gas giant over here. Delta Crucis 3 is where I'm going.
Cruise mode.
Okay. So let's take a look at this gas giant. And I'm already carrying 50 of the orbital collectors that I need. And this particular planet provides both hydrogen and deuterium, which is nice. I don't really need the deuterium at the moment, but I could bring it in and pipe it into the other system. Oh, that's a cool looking planet. We got a nice Jupiter looking gas giant here. Okay, now I've got 51 of these, and I only need 40 of them. This is apparently the equator. Okay. I'm gonna start at this point. And you can only build these things on the equator, and you have to build them one grid distance apart from each other. So the maximum that you can get on a planet is 40 of them. And once you set these guys, there's not any like settings or anything that you really set to them. They just start collecting. And all of the collecting from them is done from the other systems that you have. So whatever is collecting them has to send out ships to these guys to get the materials, because these guys don't hold ships or anything, at least not right now. They may update them in the future to do that, but they don't do anything right now but collect things. And I've never seen the dark fog do anything with gas giants. So it's kind of like you just set them and then forget about them, and they just work constantly in the background, providing you with things. And I think the only thing that I need to do to have the collectors that I currently have built start to collect from these is just to provide warpers. And I have plenty of warpers. I have tens of thousands of warpers. So if I just set all of the different little factories to bring in, say, 100 warpers, so that they just have the warpers available, yeah, then the ship should be able to warp out here, grab the stuff, and then warp back with it. I think one of the things that I'm going to do on my desert planet is build these guys, because that planet has a surplus of energy on it. Okay, so now let's just fly around and make sure that they're all built, because I have lost my drones. Oh yeah, look, and the ships are already coming to collect from these guys. Oh, now we're starting to hit some that haven't been built yet, so we'll just go ahead and plop these down. You've got my drones. Okay, so while my drones get caught up, let's make sure that I've got them built all around this planet. Yes, our big Jupiter-looking planet. Done and done. And I say Jupiter because here's something that a lot of people don't know about Jupiter. It's not orange, it's blue. A lot of the images and colors that we have of the planets in our solar system are just wrong. And Jupiter is one of them. When you look at Jupiter, this is what Jupiter looks like. It's not yellows and oranges and browns. It's blues and purples. I mean, that's what these gases look like when they collect in mass. So yeah, just quick little note there, and Pluto isn't a planet. it's just not. Bookmark. We're going to go back to Nariland. Okay, now so this should be taking me back to Nariland. Look at all the logistics vessels that are coming in to collect this hydrogen now. I mean, I guess I'll fly it manually because it's broken.
Warp engine activated.
So the cruise assist thing is nice sometimes when it works, but there's a lot of times where it just doesn't work. Like right there. Like you turn it on and you just stay on the planet that you're on in orbit and it doesn't take you anywhere. Okay.
Warp engine deactivated.
Oh, we on the other side of the gas giant. A little bit of gravity assist in that turn. And bonk, we're back here now. Okay, so one of the issues that I was having was not having enough hydrogen, which seems to be solved now. And okay, I was wondering, how are these guys warping out there? Did I already set that up? Yes, I already set that up. I had these guys configured. To have warpers, so. And now that I think about it, I remember doing that, yes. So I need to set up the one on Arrakis to do the same thing. Arrakis, which one is requesting hydrogen? This one. So I need you to request warpers. You only need 100 of them. And I guess we'll take you 600 of them. Because why not? That's apparently the smallest one of these ships can send. Okay, and so when that guy gets warpers, that one will be able to go out and collect from the outer gas giant as well. These big guys right here are collecting minerals that's going to go out to Hoth, to the mining facilities out here, which are requesting all of the different things. I just need to go out there and actually turn the system back on for Hoth, which I think what I'm gonna end up doing is just using deuterium out there, because Arrakis is building a lot of deuterium and it doesn't need a lot of it right now. And with the extra power coming in, and I'm gonna have to build another one of these power facilities here, because you see I'm at only 71% right here. And I've got the room on this planet to let this planet be powered by hydrogen. And once I build the refinery for the oil, all of that hydrogen is going to be dumped into this recycling center here. Because I have way too much hydrogen, and what I'm going to need from, so I'm actually gonna build the refinery down here in the southern hemisphere. What I'm going to need out of the oil refinery more than anything else is crude oil. But right now I'm gonna take a quick little break, and I will be right back. Alrighty, I am back. And I decided, while I was waiting to come back and then lost track of time, I can go ahead and set these guys to fill in on the Dyson swarms that I have set up. I have set up 5 Dyson swarm orbits around the star, just because I like the way it looks. And I have plenty of these guys. So I'm just gonna go down the line and have them fire at the different Dyson swarms, but then also put them on auto so that they're not just sitting there when their particular thing isn't in view. And I'm skipping the ones on the very ends, or I'm going to be when I get there, because I know that this belt here that's going around the planet is going to be reduced slightly when I bring that dark fog base back out on farm. I'm gonna have to make that square bigger, which is going to reduce my my Dyson belt here. Yeah, these are the ones that are really close by. So that one's set to 1. That one's set to 2. That one's set to 3. That one's set to 4. And as you can see, you can see this working right now. The core dark fog base is right there in the middle, and I just blew it up again. But every time something appeared around the outside, the lasers pick it up and shoot at it. I was a little too close to what's appearing around the outside. Okay, so this one is not set. That one is not set. That one is set to 1. So we'll set this one to 4. And match out the other side and set that one to 5. One. Three. 1. Okay. So now all I need to do is actually just deposit solar cells onto here, and yeah, it should work a treat. Now I expect that this line here is gonna move back to about right here. So I'm expecting to have to destroy all of these facilities to accommodate the expansion of this. I'm gonna have to put this facility, these 2 facilities, in the middle of that line. So this one may only move back a little bit because these guys kind of have to stay here. But these facilities on this side are also going to go away. And I may just truncate this side right here and not let their base expand out in this direction and just go out in that direction. Just to accommodate my my facilities over here. But I need to add a row of missiles around this as well. So these 3 sides are definitely going to expand out to give the base room to grow, because right now it can't grow beyond that. It keeps trying to, but every time we can see here more clearly in the map mode, It's gonna try to build an accessory onto the space. As you can see, it's got like the dark fog equivalent of belts coming out right there. And every time it tries to build on, the lasers lock on immediately, and they're like, nope, can't do that, beep, and it's gone, just like that. So yeah, it tried to build something out there, and the lasers are like, nope, you can't use that spot. So it's only got room for the base right now. I call this lockdown mode. So that I don't want to destroy this base because it's level 27. It gets me some really cool stuff when I have it going. But I don't need this base causing problems for me at the moment because I have the rest of the planet offline. And you may have noticed that besides the oil, I've mined out all the resources of this planet, as you can see right here. I did this because I wanted those resources. They are over here in bucket containers right here that are actually ready to go out to other systems, mainly to Hoth, to get mined. Yeah, and so to that end, I needed a shield around the planet. Because I want that dark fog base to stay there. Because I'm going to go back to mining that guy shortly. I cleared the dark fog off of the other two planets and put up a shield so I don't have to worry about them putting landing bases on those planets right now. Later, I can take down a portion of the shield so that I can choose where their landing base is going to be and just wait for them to plop one down in there, and then just build a kill box around it and start a farm up on those other planets as well. But right now I just have them blocked off. You can't put shields down. I have them blocked off with shields so they can't put any more bases down, and I have this base on lockdown so that it can't expand, which effectively puts the game on pause at the moment, which gives me time to do all of the wonderful things that I am planning to do. And one of the first ones is build another one of these power stations. Yeah, because we're getting a surplus of hydrogen in right now, which is perfect. Just adding that one other gas giant really did the trick with that. And my power plants are at full efficiency right now. So see, when they're all running at full, I have enough power here to do what I need to do on the planet. Because I'm about to build the oil stuff over here, fluids, I'm going to need to build another one of these, I think. Oh, I have to take another quick little break. Be right back. I am back. Sorry about that. Okay. So, next order of business. Build another power plant. I'm pretty sure I could supply one power plant, maybe two. They are on this line right there. I'll drop one right there. We'll drop down two. To be sure that I have enough power and I'm not gonna run out. My ships have already left to go get hydrogen. And there they go. And I do need to set these guys to collect warpers. And I want to set their loads to minimal so they immediately... Oh, 5 gigawatts. Giant factory. Okay. And so now with these two facilities online, we brought it from here to there. Which should give me enough to get the, I think they're on the same line, right? What? Big head. Ah. Okay, how are these guys looking for? Oh yeah, they're already pretty pumped. You always forget about the big head. Okay, now let's take a look at recipes here for a moment. I know I'm going to get plasma refining in place. This is going to get me the crude oil that I need and the refined oil that I need and hydrogen. And then there's this recipe, which is going to let me turn reformed refinement, which is going to let me turn that hydrogen and crude with some coal into just straight up crude. And I'm wondering if I can do this as a box build, because that would be cool if I could. Because I'm only going to need to bring in two things. I'm going to need to bring in coal, which I have way more than enough coal. And I'm going to need to bring in crude. And then crude is immediately going to be passed out to these refineries in order to refine them into the other items that I need to do this reformed refinement right there. And I'm doing that on the other planet, so I don't need to worry about that. Yeah, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm already doing that. So, and I don't need this, because I'm not hydrogen starved, I have plenty of hydrogen. I'm just going to be crude starved, right? Not crude, refined. So I should be able to do 15 of these on either side in kind of a box build setup. And then switch it over to 15 of these right after, using the same box. But then there is the question of, do I need boxes for this? Are they going to burn fast enough? And that's the thing, I'm not sure that I actually do need boxes for this. What rate does this burn at? It takes 4 seconds for that. It takes 4 seconds for that. So once this machine gets going, it's going to be burning at the same rate. This is going to generate 1 hydrogen and 2 refined, and this needs 1 hydrogen and 2 refined. So this is going to be pumping straight out into this at the same rate, just adding coal to it. And I want to make sure that I set these guys to production speed up and not extra products, to keep the balance intact, because this can only be set to production speed up. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna need a large swath of area. I have a large swath of area right there and right there. Okay. So how close can I get to this guy? We're going to want to start this with an interplanetary logistics. Building for the future. We're building on that line right there, so... We'll put it right here, and then we're going to go in that direction, building. Now the question, let me see if I can figure out how to, I'm building this right on, am I going to see a difference as opposed to just putting it up here where they would line up just weirdly?
Flight mode.
put it right here, I would be kind of limiting space that I have for... I mean, I think it'll work fine where I have it. I just won't be able to copy it to another location because it's crossing zones. If I put it here, I'm concerned about running into this. But if I put it up here, I'm concerned about building weirdness. Let's just drop it here. And we'll just deal with building weirdness if it comes to that. Okay, so we're gonna have belts coming out of here, like so. Do that. Okay, and then I'm going to have proliferators right here for these items. And so I'm not going to make the same mistake I made before with the box belts. Because I need boxes to connect to each other, I want these grabber hands to come out I guess 2 spaces? That way, if I do this, it connects. Okay, so that's the spacing I want for that. And I'm not concerned about the connections, the belts being the wrong way and the connections being backwards and stuff right at the moment. I'm only trying to figure out the spacing of these things.
Insufficient materials. Flight mode.
Did I not pick up refineries? I guess I didn't. Okay. I have them in a box up here. Right here. There they are. I also have some of those artificial suns, which are power plants, I believe. I haven't quite figured out how those work yet. I haven't really played around with them all that much. Okay. I don't see why this won't work. I am gonna have to take the coal in a top box down until we get past the 15 point, which is fine. So these guys are going to be doing that. Here's the thing. do they line up? I think they do. Okay. Almost. Okay. So we're gonna have these guys all behaving the same way, and the box build should work for this. Because everything is going to be just put in and pass down the line. And then right here it's gonna switch to something else. Okay, so this, gonna go to that. And right here in the middle, we're gonna have crude, and then we're gonna have hydrogen on one side, and we're going to have refined on the other side. Okay, and you're gonna be pulling in crude. You're gonna be pulling in hydrogen. And you're going to be pulling in refined. And then we're going to have food going out. Hydrogen coming in. And refined coming in. Like that. Okay. Put that down, and this one is messed up, so okay, so we're just going to be pulling in food and hydrogen. That's going to be a crude hole right there. go. Okay, all of these should be set properly. So what I'm gonna do now is put another box here on top, just for this section, and this box is gonna be limited to coal, and it's just going to take coal down to the end of the line for the next section. So we're gonna make this pull in from here. Really? You're gonna be like that? You're going to be pulling in coal. Lovely. And then I'm gonna put this box here. And just coal down the line like that. Okay. And now you are going to be this recipe. Okay. Right. You take this guy. Put him right here. And now change these inputs. That's pull and refine, that's what it is. You are now going to be pulling coal, which you're going to get from the top up there. So that guy should be able to pull the coal from here, even though it's in the top box. Now these guys are going to need... We're going to change what they're doing here. I need to set this so that it has coal in there. We'll actually set the coal right here and set the refined right here. Pretty sure that doesn't matter, but just to be on the safe side. You're pulling in hydrogen. You're pulling in coal. Okay, so these guys are gonna need another output for refined, because these guys are also going to be pulling in refined. Hydrogen, find, coal. There we go. So I wonder if I can do this. Okay. Take this little section right here. Remove this. Use it right now. Then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Right here. Quite how it. Here we go. And then, how do I do that blueprint? Yeah, that way. Pick this up. Grab this. We'll remove that. up from this side, so we wanted to go down from the other side. Really? I'm gonna have to do this? Okay. I almost had this perfect. Okay, and I assume I'm going to have the same issue over on this side, so we'll go ahead and make the same fix before I start. Right. And then right here, we're going to proliferate again. And I think I'm gonna build a buffer tank. Like a 3D buffer tank right here. Before I go into the that way we can get a little bit of a surplus going right here. And you are going to be looking crude for local and remote supply. You're going to be getting 100 of these guys. Maxing out both those, emitting both those, putting that up. Lovely. Oh, and you're going to be requesting proliferation fluid. I think I'm gonna turn the proliferation fluid request on all of these down to, at least on these individual ones, down to 100. Tanked all the way up to the top. Okay.
Flight mode.
Okay, you're gonna be bringing in. I need to make sure that my proliferation fluid tower is also set on supply. Let's look at power. Right back there with the power facility. Now we'll just place them like this. Okay, that should work. Let's see if my plan to box everything actually functions correctly. Where did I put those fluids? Oh. It's right here, but they all gone. I think I know where they are. They're over here. Because I put it on this one, but I didn't set a limit. There they are. Let's set a limit to max, and we'll set this to remote supply. To local supply, and now they're all in the sphere. Well, not all of them, but enough of them. They will disappear if I set this one over here back to demand. It's gonna suck them all back up. Where is there? It is. Bring them all back. Why do you not have ships? I gotta make sure to set these correctly for the fluid. Oh, the ships are making a second trip. Okay. Because I don't currently have this stuff in production, because I tore down all the production, I need to build this back. Okay, now I'm gonna set you back to supply. And then we're gonna set you to demand, so that you get your 100, and then we are set. And the ones down here should now have their 100s. Proliferators are on. Yes. Proliferator is on. Okay. So now we're going to bring in crude oil demand, and that demand filled up really quickly, and we're going to bring in coal. And that demand is also going to fill up really quickly. And we're just gonna give it a second for the crude and the coal to fill up here. Wow, coal's catching up really quick. I mean, look at this on the map. You can't really. Because coal is also coming in from off planet. Okay. Okay. So this is going to be coal.
Flight mode.
Should zoop all the way down to the end, and then zoop all the way down to the end of these. Nice. Okay, almost screwed this up. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, when I set this to crude, the whole thing should kick on. Kind of works.
Flight mode.
Guess it just really takes a second for it to get going full speed. And it still hasn't got these machines on yet. So the question is, why is it producing hydrogen at such a faster rate than it's producing? Oh, maybe it's not. Okay. I think I know what's going wrong. Yes, I will pick up the litter in a minute. I just need to dump it in here. It'd be a lot faster if I actually had more open inventory space at the moment. Now, we're going to build out a new contraption. Looks like that. We're going to start here. So what was happening with the box method? The reason why we were having so much more hydrogen than we were having of this fluid. I need to change that one. We'll do that in a second. It's because the boxes share inventory between the top and the bottom. And the refined fluid is required for the refining process, but it was also being sucked out into the tower over there. So the refined that was needed for the refining process was being sucked out before it was being used. Which is why it vanished so quickly. So now I have them on two separate processes. The refined is going to be coming out on a belt over here, but that should be okay because I don't think it's going to be processing it out fast enough that this belt won't be able to handle it. The belt's only backed up right now because I don't have it connected over there yet. I kind of want this belt to do this, which means I need to make this that, and the same thing for over here. I want this belt to do this. Which means I need this to do that. And now entire run of
Light
machines down here should be flexing. And once they get caught up, these should be going too. Because these are... They're stuck on output. So that should actually balance itself out once these start getting caught up. The only other option I might have at the moment is to flush the system, which would balance everything back out. What temporarily flood the system? Which I can do. Okay. Well, as long as this is filling up with refined, that's what I need to happen.
Flight mode.
And all of these are burning because most of these boxes are full. I think this might still be producing a little bit too much hydrogen. I'm not sure why, because I have all of these set to production speed up, unless I missed one that is still set to. It's weird that some of these are still full on hydrogen. Anyway, we have this going now, and we have crude back in production, which is lovely. How are we looking on power? Okay, we won't. I had built it down to here before, so we're using that much power to get our refined oil processing. Lovely. Okay, so let's go back over to our kill box, which is also kind of functioning as our sorting machine. You see these guys are pointing at their orbits, but I haven't actually got them set yet. So I don't need any more. Those are particle colliders. Refineries. I don't need the refineries. I don't need that. I don't need the extractor. I can go back in there. Right now, I am burning straight hydrogen because I don't have the facility to make the fuel rods up and running yet, and I have an overabundance of hydrogen that I need to get rid of. So these facilities right here are just burning straight hydrogen that they're bringing in from off-world. And I still got my little starting space right here, where everything started.
Flight mode.
Okay. I don't know how many, so I have a lot of solar cells. I have 10K right there, and then I have several boxes full right here. So I could probably put the solar cells like into their actual production. Well, not production, but like run across here. And it should be fine. 3, 1. So this is the main one. So what I would want to do is basically remove everything to the left of that one. And just kind of lock this down as the starting point and leave that as expansion for the kill box over here. And I would want to use the same So I'm gonna need to run a belt right here. I can run it right there. No, I can't. And I can't pipe into this guy, can I? No. Well, they don't make this a fun building to pipe things into, do they? Okay, I'll have to get creative with that building a little bit later. I'm going to delete that for right now. And we're going to put down this guy. And just in case, drop those on there, drop those down, drop that up. And we're also going to bring in proliferation a little bit. Okay, and we're going to bring in the sails. Okay, and that gives me room to expand that back out so they can continue to build that base. Okay, so this should turn on making the Dyson swarm once I set this up right here. And I have no idea about tolerances or whatnot, or how many it's going to take. But we're doing this now. You've activated a ray receiver, yes. Pew, 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 pew. Yes. Okay, so now we have all these cannons going. They're not cannons, but they're firing pretty blue things. And that's lovely. Light up a star that is dedicated to you in the Milky Way view. Okay, like a diamond in the sky. Gotcha. And it's going to take these guys a little while to actually, so you can actually see the pattern that I've laid out with the Dyson swarm. I'm going to chop this right here so it doesn't go too far. Because I think that These I'm gonna remove. You are a 5, so you're starting over. Okay. So this stuff here I'm actually gonna remove for expansion. (1,009 solar cells). Okay. So I can make these, and I'm leaving this area to expand this
back out.
back
The number of
out.
your solar sails has grown, and a Dyson swarm has formed around the star.
Nice.
You should be able to see it clearly now. The Dyson swarm can constantly generate electricity. You need to build a ray receiver to obtain this energy. Every ejected solar sail has a regular service life. Keep ejecting solar sails to maintain the power output of the Dyson swarm.
Okay. That is cool.
It was mentioned in a report that energy generated by Dyson Sphere is continuously losing. The energy loss has been too little to be noted. Recently, these losses have been increasing. It turns out that the Dark Fog space hive is encroaching on Dyson Sphere's energy like a black hole.
I may have accidentally painted that one green, and I didn't paint any of the others green. I might have to change that. Yes, I did accidentally paint that one green. Well, let's change this to 121. 100, 100. We could make them all green. Okay. Look at all of the pretty blue lasers. I know they're solar cells, but they look like lasers. Pew 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 pew. I like the pew pew. We are building the Dyson swarm, and we should be generating more energy. No, we're actually losing some energy with the Dyson swarm.
Flight mode.
But these ray receivers... Ooh, I can use these guys to make photons. So from what I understand of the ray receivers is the longer you leave them on, the more energy they produce. So if I just let these guys sit here and soak up energy from the Dyson swarm, they're going to start producing more and more energy. As you see, they're at like 4% right now, but it's going up. Yes, they are on power generation. Woohoo, 200 megawatts. And I guess I can drop a lens in here to increase its effect. So I'm gonna give that a shot and see how the lenses work with these guys. I think I still have some lenses. I didn't burn all of them in science, but I would find them in science. I've completely upgraded the science to use all the fancy labs now. One of these guys back here should have lenses. Yeah. Lenses are better for photon generation? Cool. So I guess I'll just pick you and we will do a lens test. One lens. And then, poof. What does that do? Oh, it burns them very slowly. But it is definitely gaining faster. So I would want to run a line, because I don't think I can run in and out of these guys with belts, can I? Well, you can. Well, now I wish I'd rotated them. Because I'm going to have to use additional hardware to get them set up now. I wish the developers would make up their minds on whether they want a belt to run into a facility or next to a facility. Because it runs into this facility, you can't grab off the belt. But it runs next to this facility, even though they have belt doors on it. You can't run a belt into this, you have to run it next to it. And you have to run a belt next to this facility, even though it's got doors on it as well. They just arbitrarily decide that some buildings you can belt into and some buildings you have to run a belt next to and pull off of that. Yes.
Flight mode.
Oh, you can see the lens. I just noticed that. Ones with lenses have a little bit of a halo. Okay, now can we see what they're building around the star? Oh, you can kind of see it. We haven't made it all the way around yet, but you can kind of see the pattern that they're laying out there. One lens seems to last a long time on these guys. And I already have some photons. They just used for this, creating antimatter. That's what this is, right? It's a critical photon. And this is for generating critical photons. Well, this belt does run. So I've got the base here. And this belt runs around the equator, all the way around the planet. Because I wanted this thing to be firing at all times, no matter which side of the planet was facing the sun. So the only time this isn't working is when the planet is in eclipse. Which isn't that often. So you got these back here which aren't working, but they should, and because I've alternated these, counting, because I have 5 different Dyson swarms around the sun, each one of these counts to 5 and then starts over. So there's always going to be a cannon firing at one of the Dyson swarms out there. And then I also have them set to auto, so that when the cannon can't fire at the Dyson swarm that it's supposed to be firing at, it'll shoot at another one. Okay. I kind of wish it would let me rotate buildings after I place them. That would be a really cool feature. If they're going to do stuff and arbitrarily have some buildings do one thing and some buildings do another, they really need to let me rotate buildings after I place them. I'm gonna pop these guys off there. That way it's even for when I... Okay, we're pushing it back down.
Flight mode.
Okay, let me go see how many of the sails we've burned so far. So I'm gonna set this guy to also receive lenses, but only a small amount. Let's say 200. I can't bring a belt through here, can I? Oh, I can. Okay. But I can't set this to grab, can I? No.
Flight mode.
So when these guys go dark side, they're gonna start dropping. So it might be worth it to use lenses to temporarily keep them boosted up so they don't drop, because the one with the lens is still at 57, but the ones next to it are at like 12 and 13. And once I start farming this again, I'm going to have more than enough lenses to make this like productive.
Flight mode.
You can see the Dyson swarm lighting up the sky. Lovely. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna have to tear these guys down and rotate them 90 degrees. Might as well future-proof the line. Okay, that should be roughly halfway around the planet. Alright, now we should be able to run a belt. Oh, I think you can see what I'm building with the Dyson's swarm. It's an atom. I'm sure everybody has built one of these with the Dyson Swarm. I actually built mine, so you can see it from this direction too. That's why there are 5 instead of 3. So you got like this direction where you can see the orbits. If you come to the side over here, there are 2 extra orbits that make it visible, like completely 3D. Yay. Okay, anyway. I have now configured these guys to accept the belt. Now I need to run a belt. And figure out how the belt is going to dance around these. We're not going to connect the belt to anything at the moment. Go here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. And we're just going to do that. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick little break. I will be right back. returned. And apparently Centerbrain needs more energy, too. The electric boogaloo. Total power generation of the Dyson Sphere reaches 1 gigawatt. Now I only need 0.21 more before I can yell 1.21 gigawatts. I think it's still funny about the mispronunciation of gigawatt in Back to the Future, simply because in 1985 the general public had no idea of what a gigawatt actually was. But now, because of computers, even the layman kind of knows what giga stands for, because gigabytes are everywhere. But it's still kind of funny the amount of people that haven't made the connection that gigawatt and gigabyte is pronounced the same way. Although it still makes Marty's reply, "What the hell is a gigawatt?" That still makes sense, because the rest of us are still wondering, what the hell is a gigawatt? Is it different from a gigawatt? Is it the difference between British English and American English? The difference between aluminum and aluminium? Or gray and gray? Okay. A connecting belt has now been ran throughout the ray receivers. I still don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with these guys. I might just end up running a belt out here and then dropping a splitter literally right here at each one to split it off to one of these doors. Because I know these guys are going to need the small carrier rockets delivered to them to build the Dyson Sphere frame. And I'm supposing I'm going to be delivering these by belt. What would be really nice, and what I had hoped, is if I could just go click, click, and do that. But apparently not with these machines. With those up there, you can do that. With these, no, you can't. Although, cute touch, putting their new logo on the back of the machine right there. The Dyson Sphere program logo.
Light mode.
Okay. Am I burning through these solar cells really quickly? This might be a thing where I build the infrastructure and then I burn through the infrastructure and then I have to come back to it. Well, not being able to immediately spot it in the field here, slightly concerning. View the other Dyson Sphere components. Right here. Yes, okay. So we will count this as more of a systems test. I guess you could say. Well, since this is more of a test, and this is, we will. I'll go ahead and see how many lenses each one of these things holds. Are you kidding me with this? It doesn't pass through. Or it's just very slowly counting them in. It doesn't pass through. So they build it to where the belts connect from unit to unit, like turrets and many other machines in the game. But although they're built the same way as turrets, and turrets allow pass-through, these machines don't allow pass-through of the items. The inconsistency is baffling. Like, just make all your machines follow the same rules. Why does every single building in this game have its own unique rules for how it interacts with belts, and none of them just share the rules? If you have a port on the building, let me decide if I want to run a belt straight into that port, or if I want to use a sorter to grab off of a belt into that port. Just make every building have both functionalities, and let the person designing the factory decide what they want to do. Enough with the arbitrary bullshit of this machine has this functionality and this functionality but not that one, while this machine, although it has this functionality, it doesn't have the middle one, but it does have the third one. This machine has the first functionality but not the second two. Like, it's stupid is what it is. So the solution for you want to build all of these things in a line, and I don't know why they have the belt running from out of this machine into that machine if you can't do pass through with it. There is something I want to check. If I switch this to photon generation mode, is it gonna pass photons out the other side? So this machine is built with an input and an output that doesn't specify an input and an output. Unlike other machines that are built exactly the same way that let you specify which are inputs and which are outputs. Which means I'm going to have to tear them down again and build a special infrastructure if I ever want to switch these things to creating photons. Lenses allow them to stay powered at nighttime. That's why you would want to feed lenses into these things. Because all the other machines are off, but that one's got a lens. Okay, so there's a monster for creating. Well, I didn't produce antimatter, I just kind of picked it up. What is this? Artificial star. Universe matrix. And this is for mining. The other, I have all this stuff in my sorting machine, but I haven't actually mined it with a machine yet. Okay, so I'm going to need only have room for one belt. Do that. This needs to come out of here. Okay, which means I don't actually want that there. I don't want it more here. Except not right there. Over one. So let's just put it there. That's a good marker for where I need to build from. Do that. because that's going to be outputting something different. So that needs to do something different. But it's only got this area of space with which to do that different thing. If I do this instead, that way I can bring belt in, belt out, hydrate. Where's my hydration? Here it is. Hydration complete. Stretch. Get up there. Do the stretch. Alrighty, have fun. What time is it? 9 o'clock. I was gonna end the stream at about 10 anyway, so you're only missing about the last 10 minutes of the stream. After I design this, I am going to end stream. I need to bring that up too. Nothing you can say. Oh, lovely. That's gonna be like that, and then I'm gonna have them out here, thinking like that. Okay, now this is what I'm going to copy pasta in front of all of these others. So I've got to go back down the line here and delete all the belts, and then bring this monstrosity, which I'm going to use a blueprint to just go bloop bloop and go all the way down the line with this, which is going to be delivering a lens to it on the bottom, and then pulling the critical photon out and sending it back up the belt to collect into this guy. So that I can just switch these from power to critical photon generation at the flip of a button, literally. Just walk up there and go boop, switch modes. Okay. So the question I have is, and this is a question posed to you guys in chat. I've got this world, which I started here, but I have learned a whole lot about the game since I've been playing this world, and I'm still learning more about it. But I've done a lot of stuff off camera. I can continue this game until I build a Dyson Sphere. And if you want to know how close I am to actually finishing the game, all I have to do is research this for 4,000 universe matrices, which I already know how to build, and that's technically game completed. I can continue on this world until I build all the things and learn how everything works. Or I could start a new one from scratch and show you guys all of the things that I've been learning and doing off camera. Which one of those would be what you would want to see? Watch me continue to figure stuff out in this world where I'm doing a lot of stuff off camera, or start a new run and do everything on camera for you to see? Because there is a lot of times I installed this little mod down here that lets me run the game at like 10 times speed, so it looks like this. And everything is just running like super mega fast. A new world with the tips and tricks? Gotcha. So, Dyson Sphere is going to be taking a little bit of a break then, while I get everything geared up for a new run. And I'm probably going to be starting that the week after next to fill in some time slots. Oh, that's a good idea. I could post up a Discord poll as well. And I'm also thinking about doing something Friday in the afternoon as well, because Lady and I are starting something new Friday evenings to replace FF14. And I was thinking of just taking the final quest and slotting that in on Friday before the special collab, which you guys are going to get to see tomorrow. I was thinking of doing that too. Okay then, that's going to be all for the stream for today. I will be back tomorrow in the evening time for a brand new special collaboration with Lady. We're going to be having fun with a secret game that you will learn. If you're watching the Discord, you'll learn it about 15 minutes before we go live, when I create the stream for YouTube and it posts it up on Discord. Right now though, let's see who we can throw a raid at. Cough, 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 cough. Die in the raid. Yep. Who is out there doing cool stuff that we can raid right now? Let's see. Oh, let's drop in on Isin the Vampire. He's playing Factorio. Factorio is kind of close to Dyson Sphere. More of the factory building and stuff. So we're gonna drop a raid on Isin, and I will be back tomorrow with a special mystery game. Yeah, so I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side. Nari out.